In this video, I'm going to show you how to make a little rustic storage unit that you can use for many different things, just depending on your creativity. If you want to see how I did it, well, then follow me. What's up, Glue Dots? I'm Elaine, the Midnight Crafter, and it's either seeing me like this and actually getting a video out these days, or me taking the time to primp and prep and do all that stuff and make myself all done up and never get the video out, because I feel like I've just been totally procrastinating because I don't feel like putting it all together. So I am putting it together this way, using my phone, filming my intro, and at least getting you the craft, because that's what matters. So first, before we get to the craft, I would love it if you join our Glue Dot family by hitting that subscribe button down below. And you know what, guys? If you wouldn't mind doing me a huge favor, please share this video, or if you don't want to share this one, pick one of my other videos that you like and is one of your favorites and share that one. I'm really trying to get like a boost in my subscribership. It's been a little bit kind of flat for a bit, and if you can help me out, that would be awesome. I would greatly appreciate it. First, before we get to the project, down there in that description box, you're going to find a whole bunch of great information, and you'll also find the link to win a Bling Owl keychain, or to enter to win. Can't guarantee you're going to win, but you can enter and see if you're the lucky one. I do that drawing the first of every month. Anyway, I will stop talking now and start crafting, so let's do it. The very first thing we're going to do to get started with this project is start by painting our little crates with this Waverly white chalk paint. You can use any paint you want. I love chalk paint because it dries really quickly. So if you haven't used it before, I really recommend it, especially for farmhouse looks. And the reason I'm starting with these little crates is because I do want to give these some time to dry, because we're going to be working with them a little later. So while we're doing the other part, these will dry and be ready to go. You can paint the inside if you want to, but you don't have to. In fact, if you're really trying even to conserve paint, you can just paint the front and the sides of it, and then maybe just this little top rim, and you are good. Okay, so next I'm going to be taking my little boxes here, and I'm going to be gluing these together. Now, if you want to, you can paint them first and then glue them together. I like doing it afterwards. It's just going to be easier for me, and I don't know, it's just one piece as opposed to three. So if you are painting them first, make sure that the parts that are going to be glued together are not painted, because they will stick a lot better. Also, I'm going to be using my Gorilla wood glue to attach these together, as well as my hot glue gun. And the reason I'm doing that, well, the hot glue gun I want to use so I have immediate bond, but I'm going to leave an iCard above for this really cute little project I did. If you haven't seen it yet, it was a kind of a little herb garden thing, and adorable. But I did it only with the hot glue, and I didn't use any wood glue. I gave it to my sister, and she put it outside on her porch where it was getting hit with direct sun, and it completely fell apart because sun and hot glue don't do well together. So if you are planning to put this anywhere where it's going to be getting any direct sunlight, just make sure you use your wood glue. You can use any wood glue you want, even potentially, and I'm not 100% sure about this, but possibly even like a school glue would work as well. I'm just going to go ahead and put that on my two ends here and add my hot glue and stick these all together. And once you get them all put together, then you can go ahead and paint it if you haven't already. This one I'm going to be painting the inside also, because you will be able to see it depending on how you're using this. So again, it's up to you if you want to paint. I know that right now it's a little hard to find some of the chalk paints and stuff, depending on like the Waverly with all of everything that's going on. Some of the shelves are not quite as stocked, but I'm going to go ahead and paint this on the inside as well, in case I decide to give it as a gift or sell it, whatever you want to do. Now's a great time to put on an audiobook if you have always had something that you've been wanting to read or listen to. I find that during painting time is the best time to do that. And you know, there's a lot of really, really awesome personal growth books out there, and one of my all-time favorites, and I've mentioned it before, it's called You Are a Badass. And I forget the author, but you can just look that up. But I highly recommend that book, and it's a really great one to listen to. So anyway, just my 2 cents for the day. Okay, at this point I've got everything painted white. If you want to give it a little bit of kind of a distressed look, that would be great too. And I'm actually going to do that by using this Apple Barrel Burnt Umber paint. I'm going to dry brush that on, so I'm only going to need a little bit of it, because a little goes a long way for something like this. And just dip my brush in and kind of blot it off as well, so that there's just very little on my brush. And then just kind of go through and very lightly hit a few of the spots on my little crates. Here you can kind of see the difference of what that does. I'm going to go through and give just a very light distressing on mine. It will dry pretty much instantly because we're really not doing much at all. So you can also do that to your main big piece as well if you'd like. The key is just to not have too much paint on your brush. And if you do, by accident, get a little too much paint on your brush, you can always let that dry and just go over it with the white again. So not to worry, don't be afraid to try things. That's a big thing I've been working on lately, is getting rid of that perfectionist attitude and kind of trying new things. And then the other cool thing about that is sometimes you do mess up, but then it gives you an opportunity to see about problem solving and that kind of a skill. So it's a good thing. Next thing we're going to be working on is the handles for our little drawers here. So I'm using this nautical rope that I found recently. It's really, really wide. You can see it's almost the thickness of my pinky. So I don't know if you'll be able to find this one, but I'm going to use this one, and I'm going to actually take it apart. With the nautical rope and stuff, usually you will see 3 strands when you untwist it. We're just going to be using one of those strands for each of our drawer handles. So you're going to want to not only figure out the length of your drawer handle, but leave a little extra. You can always cut off. So I'm going to leave probably about a 10-inch piece is what I'm going to be using. Once you have your little piece here, your 10-inch approximately piece, you're just going to unravel that so that you have 3 separate pieces. And what we're going to be doing with those is using those, as I said, as our handle. So first thing you're going to do is tie a knot on one end and pull that knot really, really tight. Then we're going to be passing that through. If you want to add a little bit of some hot glue on the end of your little strand so it doesn't come untwisted, that might make it a little easier to work with. So putting a little glue on the end here is really helpful in keeping this all together, otherwise you're going to have a really hard time. Then you're going to go from the inside of your crate and pass this nautical rope through the one side until you get that knot hitting the back side here. This is what's going to hold our little drawer handle in place. And then pass it through again in the front and tie another knot. So figure out how long or short you want your little handle to be, first of all. And then that's where you're going to be tying your knot. Once you get your knot done, you get it nice and snug. We're going to cut off the excess. And then I'm also going to add a bit of hot glue there just to make sure that my knot doesn't come undone. Not only that, but we're also going to be adding a little bit of hot glue so that the knot doesn't slide around. So when you figure out exactly where you want your handle to be placed and how far apart or how you want your little handle, I think I'm going to make mine a little bit kind of longer, or wider I should say. Add a little bit of glue on that back side just to hold it in place. And this is what's going to create our little handle, which I think it's adorable. And we're gonna do that 2 more times to do that to our 2 other drawers. I usually put a little hot glue on there, let it cool off a little bit. And once I know that it's cool enough that I'm not gonna burn myself, then I kind of twist it. If you have those little rubber finger things, that will be really helpful too. Be really careful if you do this though, because I don't want you to say, you told me to touch it and I burned myself, because you know, we're all responsible adults here, I'm hoping. Also, sometimes using parchment paper is really helpful because then it doesn't stick to your fingers. The last thing we're gonna do is take our little clothespin sign thingy majiggies, and we're gonna break this little clothespin off the back. So you're just gonna break off those little clothespins. Sometimes it takes the back layer of the board off. You're only gonna need 3 of these, so pick the 3 easiest ones. So there you go. It takes off some of that back layer of board. If you want to peel the rest of that board off, you can. If you don't want to, don't. And I have my 3 of these ready to go. Boy, this one's stuck on there good. Someone really did their job gluing that one on, boy. Okay, so then we're just gonna take and glue these on directly to any part of your little drawer that you want to put it on. I kind of initially was putting them in the center, but I think I like them better more towards the bottom. And I'm going to use just a dot of my wood glue as well, but mostly it should stay on just fine with the hot glue, but you know, why not be safe? So I'm just going to do a little bit of both. And that's that. So I'll do the other 2 drawers, and are you guys ready to see how cute this is? I love it. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up and leave me a comment. Let me know what you're gonna use, if you're gonna make this, what you're gonna use these little drawers for and what you're gonna put inside of them.